Let's compare Bookmap with a regular DOM in this crude oil example. On the right, I have a traditional DOM from a popular trading platform. On the left, I have Bookmap. More volatile markets such as crude can be rather challenging to read in a regular DOM. This is because price moves so quickly. This is not an issue in Bookmap because you can see the entire chart with the graphical representation. Therefore, I can quickly see areas of high liquidity up here on the offer and the intent of these traders as they add and pull liquidity, and then down here on the bid. Moreover, I can see price structure and the volume that traded within that structure, as well as the context between the volume and the areas of high liquidity. None of that data or information can be seen using your traditional DOM. Let's go over a few popular concepts traders use from the regular trading DOM. Using the DOM, many traders have to remember certain areas where price pivoted. For example, we can see this very clearly here in Bookmap since everything is recorded. Here's the initiated buying to the upside here. We get a retest back down to that initiated buying, and we see sellers take control down below it. We get retests back up into that pivot area here, but we see buyers take control above it here at 69.60. We see the size starting to come in. So price is now accepting above this pivot area here. And we're looking for strong buying to continue to test into the high liquidity up here at 69.75. Let's continue on. And we quickly move up into that area. Let's go over another popular method trading from the DOM, and that's absorption. We come up and trade into this area of high liquidity here, and we can see the transactions that took place. This is what areas of absorption or partial absorption look like in Bookmap, although the buying pressure was not completely absorbed because we did trade through that area. Okay, so we've made a new high here. We have good volume trading up at that higher area, and we want to see if we get an extension to the upside and test into this 69.80 area here. What we want to understand is the context of the liquidity and the aggressor up at those areas. If we get a lack of buying up in these areas here and we start to exhaust out, then we're looking for sellers to rotate back in and trade it back into the range. Let's continue onward. Okay, we get our test back up to the high here. Let's play this out. High liquidity here. We see the buying coming in, but it's not like it was previously here, as we can see. Best offer tests into that area, but there was no trading activity up there. We see the sellers start to rotate in. We get another retest up at that area, and there's complete lack of trading here. This is exhaustion. This is what it looks like in Bookmap and what you can see here in the DOM. Now we're looking for those sellers to rotate in, and they do. Where do we trade? Back down to where they initiated here, the buying. Again, this pivot area here at 66, you'd have to remember looking at the DOM. If we can get more selling down below this area here in this pivot, then we're looking for sellers to take control and to test areas of high liquidity, maybe down at 60 or 52, and even further at 45 and 43. Let's speed this up a little bit. Okay, another area of exhaustion here. You can see the lack of trading. We can see one contract up here, looking for sellers to hit the bid with some size here and bring price lower into areas of higher liquidity. And that's exactly what occurs. Again, starting to understand areas of high liquidity, transactions taking place into that high liquidity, areas being absorbed or partially absorbed, and areas where there's a lack of trading in context with that high liquidity here on the offer. Noting areas of exhaustion and sellers starting to take control into pivot areas. All of this context and information here is lacking within the trading DOM. Now, since we're down below our pivot area here at 66, let's continue on. We're looking for sellers to take control and to hit into high liquidity here at 52 and maybe down into this 43 area. Get a retest back up into that pivot area here, as you can see very clearly. Let's look to see if we exhaust out or we find more buyers. start to exhaust out in these areas here, we're starting to find some sellers. Let's see if they can hit the bid. And there they go. Now we're down below again, this other pivot that we were previously looking at around 57, and we see some size here on volume, looking for them to continue to hit the bid into higher liquidity at 52 and down here at 43. And there's our nice move to the downside.